Let's talk about Frank Bruno, British institution, iconic figure. Give me your take on Frank Bruno.
Big Frank. Well, first of all, I have utmost respect for Frank Bruno. Grown up watching him fight. I fought in his era. And let's put it this way, Frank Bruno, he fought some good people, some good champions. Not paper champions, he fought good guys, did Frank Bruno. And yeah, for my money, Frank Bruno, English national treasure for his era. I like the man, he's sincere. And he probably understands where we're at this moment because he's been there himself, Frank. And I think he can sort of like sympathise with Tyson because he's probably been there himself. And obviously boxing has sent him to the place he's been in his life, which is a documented fact. He's been in some bad places, Frank Bruno. But I think he can sort of like identify what I'm saying because, you know, to be in a bad place mentally over something, and sometimes out of your control, and other people are all having a go at you and they don't really see the core of the problem, you know. And Frank's been there, but you know what, he's never had a bad word to say about Tyson. He's been truthful, he spoke his mind, he's not said what everybody else wants him to say, that Tyson's useless, everybody will beat Tyson. Frank Bruno has always said Tyson is the best heavyweight in the world in this era. And I respect Frank for that, you know, and I know for a fact he doesn't mind travelling people, you know, because people can only identify with people like me is if they've been there themselves. You know, let's put it this way, we are like black people 120 years ago, you know, we're thought of in the same light, but black people, Pakistan people, the Muslim community, they get accepted. You know, nobody tries to change the way they live, change their culture. They accept them for what they are, you know. But unfortunately, the gypsy, the traveller, we're still 120 years behind everybody else. Maybe in another 120 years' time, they'll look up and say, you know what, we wasn't right with these people. We wasn't there for them. We never took them on board. We didn't try and teach them things. We didn't let them go to the college. We never gave them the breaks we should have done. But this maybe will happen in another 100 years. It won't be in my lifetime. But at the minute, travelling people are classed as vermin. You know, derogatory people, what hasn't got a right to breathe fresh air. They could even go as far as to say we're oxygen thieves. We steal oxygen. That's how low and bad these people can get. But Frank Bruno, he knows us kind of people. He's lived near these people. He comes from an area what's thickly populated with travellers. And every traveller, gypsy out there, always liked Frank Bruno. I always tuned in. I never missed one fight. If I knew Frank Bruno was in town, I'd be there. You know, because I liked Frank as a fighter. He was a great champion. You know, and he fought some good champions at the time. You know, he fought Pinkland Thomas, Mike Tyson, and let's put it right, he almost nearly beat Mike Tyson. When the world was feared of Mike Tyson, Frank nearly did it. He fought Lennox at his best. I can go on all night. And he was in some great fights. And I always said Frank Bruno, he was one tough mother. And he had a chin like granite. I watched him back in '83 get it with a left hook off a man called Jumbo Cummins, Floyd Cummins. That would have knocked any heavyweight out for 1 hour on the planet. Yeah, it hurt Frank, it shook Frank, but he come back and done his job. Well done, Frank Bruno. And I appreciate everything Frank Bruno does for travelling people. And you know what? I admire everything he does. And God bless you, Frank Bruno, from the heart. I love you, man. He's a good champion and always will.